Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We saw Scarlett once, we saw Scarlett twice. And it's time to watch Scarlett a third time going up against Trap. I'm with Todd. And this matchup is such a hype match.
I think so too. Sean, these two players, they already faced off, and the last time that they played, Trap was able to win, but Scarlett has so much momentum going into today's games. She's been playing amazing. She defeated Life earlier. I watched that behind her, and she showed so much emotion after the game. You could really tell this game meant so much to her, and here again, playing so well on the stage. So I cannot wait to see what basically those players choose to go for going into these games, because again, there's going to be a lot of options, and it's very hard to narrow down the choices, I guess, up until the game starts and we start seeing how they open up.
Well, I mean, I like what you were talking about at the start about the momentum that Scarlett has going into this match, because there's a lot of times where we would expect someone to have momentum, but it can be very wearing to have a tense game and then a tense game and then a tense game, and then at the 10th time you're just exhausted and feeling increasingly anxious. But Scarlett is one of those players that feeds off her own wins, and I think that she's going to be much more confident. At Red Bull, we saw her falter super early and then pull it back so well in day 2 and 3. She faltered versus Trap in the first day, and now we're at day 3 again, which seems to be her lucky day in tournaments.
Better than the opposite. Trap has shown very strong form versus Zerg so far in this tournament. As I said, he beat Scarlett earlier in it with 2-0. He was able to beat Petraeus as well. He won 2-1 against Hyun. He did lose to Ragnarok, so it's definitely not unbeatable in the matchup. And it's going to be very important to keep an eye on how he likes to open. And if he opens very aggressively, which is what I expect out of him, and what he's been doing in basically any matchup, I feel like at times he gets overly aggressive for his own bad in this case, because it's not always gone well when he has done that. And if he overextends against somebody as good as Scarlett, if he reads the situation well, and considering I saw a game with her playing Protoss earlier, I guess she can read the matchup pretty well. It could go very bad for Trap.
The most important time, we've said it in multiple series in this event, is the 8 to 12 minute mark. That is the time where there's a lot of Protoss all-ins that get kicked into gear. That's the time when the Zerg needs to see what is up and make the big decision. Do I tech? Do I drone? Do I attack? Those decisions, if you choose the wrong one, you're doomed. You can lose right then and there. And I think that Trap does a great job of feigning those attacks. Moves forward and pulls back, and I think Scarlett's going to have to be very, very careful about not overreacting.
Yeah, you know, I feel like scouting against this guy is going to be so difficult. I saw a game that he played earlier. I think it was against Hyun. Yeah, it was against Hyun. And it was on Frost, and he fooled Hyun so hard. It was insane. On Frost, he went for a quick Oracle. Hyun was busy macroing against the Oracle that was killing drones. So Trap took that opportunity to start killing the links that were on the map. And he faked that he was going to take a third base. He put down a pylon there, and then Hyun stopped looking. He's like, for sure, this is a third base. I mean, there is a few units and a mothership core. Not even going to bother looking any further. But there was a lot of gateways and a huge attack headed for Hyun's base. He had only drones. Against a third base, you want to get drones. So this guy, he's very good at fooling his opponents. And if Scarlett is not careful enough, and he manages to fool her, it's going to be almost impossible to take him out. So she's going to have to be extremely careful. The scouting is going to be key early on for Scarlett.
Well, we've gotten the go word from Trap. We're just waiting on Scarlett to give the okay to start. She's said ready. It's time for game 1 of the lower finals. Both these players in top 4. Whoever wins this will advance to play the loser of Polt versus Violet. That's right. We're going into the game. It's on Overgrowth. It's Trap versus Scarlett. It's all in the tone. It doesn't matter what you say, Todd. We got to make sure the crowd is appropriately ready to get hyped, because whoever loses this is out of the tournament. Both these players have been battling in lowers for so many hours now. Are they exhausted or are they pumped? I know we are.
All right, guys. It is time for Scarlett to take on Trap in the top right-hand side of Overgrowth. Playing as the Red Zerg, we have Acer Scarlett.
And in the bottom left, the only Kespa Pro remaining from Incredible Miracle. It is Trap!
The last Protoss standing. Well, technically, Scarlett can also count as Protoss.
Trap going for Pylon in main. Scarlett just going to be doing her usual droning up early. You know, I want to ask you, we often see the Forge at the expansion first. We see Nexus first builds most of the time. Trap has been going Nexus and then Gateway almost every single game. What are your thoughts on that build, since that's a little bit of a newer trend?
It's one of the best builds out there. It's actually the build that I use the most personally, so I know a lot about it, and it's very, very strong. But in this case, he goes for a Gateway first, which, I mean, Trap has been mixing it up beautifully so far in this tournament. You see him open with everything. Sometimes a standard Forge with, I guess, a Nexus and macro more than a Cannon Rush. Sometimes Cannon Rush, sometimes Gate first, sometimes Nexus first. He can do literally anything, and that's what makes him dangerous. But on the other hand, you have a Scarlett that's used about every single unit composition you could go for in the game so far as well, and that makes this matchup so interesting. Anything could literally happen. We could see crazy transitions, and I do think that Trap is going to want to be the aggressor even more so before than Scarlett is.
Now, on this map, the last time they played, Scarlett did that juicy expand to the gold and Spinecrawler push the natural, and Trap was able to pull a win because he had that sneaky probe out on the map. And
did you just say juicy?
Oh, of course, man.
You've been casting a lot with Roddy, I can tell.
Yeah, man, dude, casting with Roddy's the best.
So you were going to say with the gold base?
Yeah, the gold base, the Spinecrawler push to get in there, a very juicy play. Pushing to the front, but Trap was able to thwart it because he was so good at hiding the probe and did the Pylon counterattack. And I honestly feel like that's going to be Trap's secret to success. If Scarlett spots the probes and makes sure there's no counter Pylons, I think she's going to win this series.
Is he not going to cancel the Zealots? No, he's not. He hadn't sent a probe to his natural to throw down an expansion there. So this is what I was talking about. Trap loves to be aggressive, even if it's just with one Zealot. Almost no players will ever do that. Maybe guys like MC, but usually more so with Stalkers than just Zealots. That one Zealot, its goal is basically going to be to try and force as many units out as possible from Scarlett, and possibly to snipe 1 or 2 drones here and there if he can. Because right now, it's not been spotted at all. The Overlord was out of position, and there's nothing to see it coming.
Yeah. Well, it looks like the headphones are back on. Trap was actually playing with no headphones, but fortunately, I don't think he can hear us too well, but
just in case.
Sorry. Looks like players are ready. I'm counting back. We're heading into the game.
You're such a good commissioner, Day9, as well as a great caster.
Oh, thank you. Commissioner 9. That is my new aspiration, to commission. At this point in time, Mothership Core coming out. Nothing too out of the blue. Trap.
Ooh, she's sending 2 drones to the third base. Mistake?
Huh.
Has to be a mistake.
Yeah,
it was like double hatch, double micro hatch.
She's going to take the hatch and the gas geyser and start mining gas right away. Scarlett has gotten herself a very nice timing on the third, picks up the probe. Still no gas for Trap, and this is interesting. We're seeing him chrono boost on the cybernetics core, and Roddy's been talking about the Stalker pushes all weekend long.
It's all he's been talking about for these last few weeks, actually. We might see that. As I was saying earlier, Trap loves to be extremely aggressive. He's getting a Stalker here. He's going to follow that up with a Sentry. That means he's going to want to keep that Sentry in his wall. By the way, I was very surprised that Zealot turned around and came back and defended against the Lynx, because he was getting Mothership Core anyway. So the first Zealot turned around, went back to Trap's base, and then realized he was going to be useless anyway against the Lynx. He was never going to hit them. So he came back across the map, and he's now attacking the third hatchery. That's going to be the base he wants to snipe. And Scarlett, she's really familiar with this kind of rushes, but she thinks that they are so strong, apparently, that she even plays Protoss herself and uses them. So now, are we going to see the right counter here out of her against this?
I feel like we're already seeing an uncharacteristic mistake from Trap. He was so late on his Pylon. I mean, I think he was maybe 30 seconds late, 20 seconds late, quite a while. Warp Gate's been done for a bit. He's going to have the four-gate push.
She made 5 drones.
Oh my God. Trap's mistake is going to turn out to be his own benefit.
She sees that one of the gateways at the natural is being chrono boosted. I think she should be able to realize by now what's happening. She starts the Spinecrawler. The Roadrunner is not done yet. She's going to need units, and she's going to need them quickly here to help and defend against this.
Mothership Core has healed back all the shields. The Queen's getting target fired, and she will fall. Very rough spot to be in for Scarlett. This is her one of her big maps of choice. And Zergling speed has only just been started, Todd.
Oh yeah, it's going to take forever to reinforce that base. I think that base is gone.
It's going to be a Dunzo base. Trap has already built too many forces, is swinging in from all sides, and Scarlett is still under threat of losing her natural expansion. She has to keep building units. There's the cancel. The base is going to be abandoned, and Trap off to a nice early lead.
Isn't that build kinda what she did against Dongregu earlier on Frost?
Yeah, it was a lot less of an all-in.
I saw Trop do this earlier as well. He used that very same build against Sion, but sadly for Scarlett, she was busy playing, so she did not see that. Otherwise, she would have known there was this possibility he could do that. And now she's on the back foot. Can she defend this? He has so many units.
Well, Roaches are about to pop out. We're seeing no relent on the push. We're seeing the time warps. Not even going to waste trying to save for a recall. Scarlett going to lose the Queen, maybe? No, Queen's still alive. There she gets targeted down. Scarlett has a supply lead, but most of it is in almost done units.
Can you get a World Run on time against this? It looks kind of unstoppable right now. The Stalkers plus Dewalt amounts are almost always going to kill that third base, and then from there you want 2 hatcheries against 4 gateways. You have to use your Queens to fight and defend. That means no inject, just like on that hatch right now. And it looks like Trap is going to be able to secure the first game.
Trap is locking down a very easy win in game number 1. Building the Robo, getting extra gas geysers, continuing to build probes. 41 to 36 is the worker count. Just incredible micro, incredible timing. The slightly late pylon tricked Scarlett. She droned, and she's getting punished. It looks like Scarlett's expansion might stay alive thanks to these drones, but the continued warp-ins, the Zealots, it's going to be a slow petering out for Scarlett in match 1.
And those Queens got nowhere to go.
Brutal. An absolutely brutal loss. Scarlett should have completely scouted this out. This is one of her best defenses, or she's excellent at defending. This is one of her highest win rate defenses.
That Mothership Core with 9 kills already is going to go uncontested, as even if a Queen came out now, there are units for Trap ready to kill it. Scarlett down to 25 drones.
A GG.
That guy, he's relentless.
Yeah.
He's consistently attacking, never slowing down, never ever, literally never ever slowing down. I've never seen a guy play this aggressive, and I've seen a lot of guys being super aggressive, but he never backs down. He picks a build, he goes for it, and usually, even from very early on in the game, he's already attacking, already getting into his opponent's face. And he's just doing it so well that he's very, very hard to stop. I feel like you need to have some kind of perfect defense prepared, and if you misread his build just a little bit, it's just going to be that much harder to counter him. Now the gateway, the first gateway that he added on, after the initial one, was in his main, and Scarlett didn't spot that, so I feel like that really helped. She probably thought it was the 3 gateways when she saw the double additional gateway in the wall.
Maybe an expansion, something like that. Certainly not the all-in. And in response, Scarlett has chosen one of the largest maps ever. Alterzim Stronghold will be our map in Game 2. When we return, Scarlett once again on the ropes. Can she pull her 3rd straight comeback of the day, or will her run be finished? We'll find out when we come back.
Done fighting, I'm done running. She's nowhere to live.
We have to end this war.
This is war. We can't think with our hearts. I'm still standing, bitch.
What do they really want?
You'll be safe here.
It's genocide! This is extinction!
They cannot racist! You want me? Here I am! Falling Skies. New season. June 22nd at 10.